Hi everyone, let's continue our overview of the trading tools offered by Betting Toolkit. After looking at the market window grid, let's stay within this window and analyze the ladder page. The ladder represents market odds differently than the grid. In the grid, the selections are represented as rows of a single table. In the ladder representation, each table represents a selection with its corresponding book. The odds, which in the grid are arranged in columns, here are arranged in rows. Specifically, there is one row for each possible odd, so each ladder has a total of 350 rows, from 1.01 at the bottom to 1000 at the top. Another feature compared to the grid is that all the odds are represented. If there is no money available at any odds, the book will be empty, and consequently, the cells corresponding to those odds will be empty. On the left are the odds available for backing, that is to say, all the proposals from participants who wish to lay. On the right are the odds available for laying, that is to say, all the proposals from participants who wish to back. For scalping or fast trading, the ladder is certainly more suitable than the grid for representing the trend of odds in a dynamic market because it is immediately possible to follow the rising and falling prices and easily visualize the spread created between back and lay odds, or between the various levels of available odds. As with the grid, the same applies to the Confirm Bet button. If active, the program displays a confirmation window before submitting the bet to the market. If inactive, the bet is placed immediately. As with the grid, stakes are managed similarly. As illustrated in the previous video, each ladder also has its own stakes buttons. When displayed, they set the amount to back or lay. If hidden, the value set at the top of the main window is considered the stake. Unlike the grid, you don't need to choose between proposing and matching because the program communicates whether you want to back or lay based on the column you click on. In the standard configuration, clicking on the column with odds available for laying, i.e., the column to the right of the odds, means queuing up with the market's offers and therefore backing. Conversely, clicking on the column to the left of the odds column means laying. The odds are determined by the row you click. If the market corresponding to the clicked row has an available counterparty on the opposite side of the book, the order will be matched immediately. Otherwise, it will be queued with the others and will appear not only in the actual book but also as an orange square in the column dedicated to your back or lay bets. So, let's summarize the book columns from left to right in the basic configuration. After the odds chart, we first have the column of our lay bets, which are waiting on the market to be matched with a corresponding back. So we have the column of amounts available for betting, that is to say, all the bets for those who want to lay. Then we have the prices column, in which the text of the last odds traded is highlighted. When this happens, the box is also highlighted for a few seconds in a different color depending on whether the price or odds has risen, fallen, or remained constant. Next, we have the column of odds available for laying, that is to say, all the bets for those who want to back. Then we have the column of our bets. Note that in the columns of our bets and our lays, we will find both our orders present in the book and still waiting to be matched, and our orders waiting to be placed on the book because they are managed by the program, i.e., trade closures or stop losses, elements we will examine later. If we continue to the right, in this column, once bets have been matched, the possible cash-out amounts at the various odds appear. Clicking on these cells will automatically calculate the stake required for a bet placed at that odds, resulting in a profit or loss equal to the indicated value. Continuing to the right, we find the column showing the traded volumes for each individual row or odds. As you can see, the amounts are also represented with a histogram featuring two colors. A particular color distinguishes recently traded volumes. All these colors and behaviors can be configured via the options. The ladder options are accessible via the options window on the ladder page. As you can see, there are numerous possible settings. For example, you can activate another column called PIQ from the configuration, which shows an estimate of our position in the betting queue when our order is placed at a level where there is already a pending quantity on the market. We close the options window and return to the ladder. There is a wealth of information available around the ladder table. At the top, you can choose the selection for which you want to view the ladder. The drop-down box that allows you to select the ladder selection also contains some useful information, such as the current position in the order of ascending odds of the selections, the name of a selection, whether they are executed or pending orders, the selection's odds, and its position in the Betfair schedule. Below the selection box, on the right, are buttons for applying a strategy, a menu with numerous options such as enabling or disabling the bottom panel and the stakes buttons, calling up the selection's candlestick chart, etc., a button to quickly center the ladder display around the last traded odds, and a very important button to quickly cancel all unmatched bets on that particular selection. The information rows below the selection selector are called Row 1, Row 2, and Row 3. The third line of information displays a summary of what would happen if we clicked on a specific trading box when we move the mouse over the ladder. This line typically displays the totals of our back and lay bets, an arrow indicating the prevalence of money on both sides of the book, thus providing an indication of the immediate upward or downward trend. It also displays the total amounts in the book on the back and lay sides. When market conditions allow, or when we have matched our bets, buttons in the second line from the top are activated. These are not initially visible. In particular, two main buttons, one on the left and one on the right, appear. To make them appear, we match our bet. You will see that on the left is the button indicating the financial outcome if the selection wins. Clicking this button, if the book conditions allow it, will void the selection, meaning the amount will be zeroed in the event of a winning outcome. On the right is the cash out button. In this case, clicking will launch the cash out function, which will allow you to even out the odds on that selection so that you get the same financial result whether you win or lose on the bets placed on that selection. There are 4 buttons in the center, 2 that allow you to back directly at the best available odds or lay at the best available odds, and 2 smaller buttons that allow you to move in front of the book, choosing whether to back at the odds immediately below the best available odds for backers, or whether to lay at the odds immediately above the best available odds for layers. This special feature allows you to follow the market with your bets in cases of high volatility. To the left of the ladder is a chart with recent prices matched, configurable as a line chart or candlestick chart, while to the right is a summary graphic representation of the book that shows you which portion of the entire vertical progression of the odds we are viewing and where the back and lay offers are located on the book. This chart is contained in the control that also allows you to move vertically through the book. In describing the market window, we saw how each individual page can be detached and displayed on multiple monitors. The ladder page can also be detached, and even individual ladders can be detached and set aside. Obviously, to keep it active, the underlying market window must be kept open. Even the individual chart below the ladder can be detached into a separate window because the lower panel can be detached by double-clicking on the page titles. As you can see, the lower panel contains not only the Betfair odds graph but also a series of pages, including a real-time graph, the list of selection pairings, and the list of our matched and pending bets. Within the market window, ladders follow a sorting criterion that can be assigned using this button in the bottom right. We can also move the ladders by simply clicking in this area and dragging the ladder to a new position. That's all for this introductory description of the ladder. In the next episode, we'll go into detail about some aspects of placing bets. Remember to follow us by subscribing to the betting channel to stay up to date on our news and to like this video if you want to support us. See you in the next episode.